Okay, so it's time to make my second report. I'm on instruction 35 of the exam paper. I'm going to close the list of micro-Z cars for sale report and save it. Now, the next report says produce a new report from all the data. So I need to make sure that I'm not working with my query micro-Z highlighted, but actually back to my original table because I need to use all of the data. So I'm back at the original table and I'm going to go to create and I'm going to select a new query design from the GXI cars table and again expand that field. Now because it says produce a report from all the data, I'm going to bring in all of the different headings. Even though I might not want to see them all, I'm going to make some of them visible and some of them not. So I'm just going to bring in all of the headings for this one by double clicking. Okay, so there's all of the data into the query. And then it says that it should also contain a new field called discount, which is calculated at runtime. This will be price multiplied by discount applied. So if I scroll down to the end of my query, I can see that I have a price field and I can see that I have a discount applied field. And over here I'm going to be able to create a new field which will calculate these two. If I was to start creating the new field now by going into the Builder tool, which is this one up here that has the magic wand, I actually can't see any of my current fields in the query because I haven't saved the query. So I have to save this one as I go in order to make sure I can see what I'm using. So I'm just going to Control and S to save, and I'm going to name it discount for the moment. Press OK, and in my next empty field heading over here, I'm going to go to the Builder, and now I can see all of the different field headings that were in the previous instruction. So this new field should be called discount, and it will be calculated as price multiplied by discount applied. So if I go down and I select the price option from my different fields and double click, it will appear as an expression up in my expression builder, or like a formula builder from Excel. So I've got price and I want to use the times symbol, the same times symbol as we use in Excel, the little asterisk star. Price times discount applied. So this field here will calculate those two values. So if I press OK, I can see it says expression 1 or expr1 equals price multiplied by discount applied. Well, I don't want it to be called expression 1, I want it to be called discount. So I'm going to rename where it says expr1 to discount, and then it'll say colon price multiplied by discount applied. Okay, that's done. The next one says contains a new field called sales price, which is also calculated at runtime, and this will be price minus the discount, which is the field we've just made. So again, if I was to go into the next column and try and build my table, I can see the price column field, but I can't see the discount field because I haven't saved the query yet. So I need to Control and S again to save, into the new query field, go to the Builder. This time I can see price minus the discount. Press OK, and again this one is going to try and call itself expression 1 as well, and I'll rename that to sales price. All of these instructions are what I'm following from the exam sheet that you've been given out in lessons, so make sure you use the instructions to go through as well. The next instruction says that the discount and the sales price field, so these two new fields that I've created, should be set as currency with 2 decimal places. Now I know that all of my currencies should be set to euros, so I'm just going to make sure that that's the case for these two new fields because they don't have a data type yet. So I'm just going to go and view their properties. So I've got my discount one selected. I'm going to go to the property sheet, and in the format, the property sheet, I'm going to select euro as the format. I'm going to do the same for my last column, sales price, and make sure that format is also set to euros. Okay, close the property sheet. So at this stage I can run my query just to see what it looks like. If I run my query, I can see that I have all of this data, and at the end I have the discount column and the sales price column, which are calculated to euros with 2 decimal places. Okay, so we're on the right track. I can go back into my query design by changing my datasheet view to the design view. Here I am. So the next instruction says that the report will have a page orientation of portrait. Well, I can't do that until I get into the report itself. It also says that it will only show the records where sold is equal to yes, sales were made in 2012 and the salesperson is Geldorf. Now I can do some of that in the criteria row, but I'm going to wait until I get into the report to show you how to filter data in the actual report rather than in the query, so it can be done there as well. But this next instruction has to be done here. It says that the report should show only the fields salesperson, model, price, discount, date sold, sale price and sold. So everything else should not be visible in the report. It needs to be included in the query because the data is required to do some of the calculations, but it shouldn't be visible. So if it's not salesperson, model, price, discount, date sold, sale price or sold, I'm going to untick the show column. So the VIN is not needed. I'm going to untick it. Model is in the list, so I'm going to leave it there. Power was not, so I'm going to untick it. Engine size was not. Price is in the list, I'll leave it where it is. Colour was not in the list, untick. Discount applied was not. Discount is, but discount applied was not. Now notice that was one of the columns that I actually needed to do the calculation. That's why it's here in the query, even though it's not going to be visible in the report. Location is not needed, so I'm going to untick that. Date sold is needed, salesperson is needed, sold, yes or no, is needed, as are the actual discount itself and the finished sales price. So I'll leave those where they are. It will be sorted into ascending order of model and calculate the total value of all of the sales and place the value below the sales price column. So we can do that when we get into the report. So for now, let's Control and S to save our query and close it. I'm going to close the other tables I've also got open here just so I can see more clearly what I'm working with. So my discount query now is what I'm going to build my second report from. Go to my Create tab and create a report. There's my default report. So let's finish off the formatting of this. The report has the discount column and the sales price column because I've created those in the query. They're both set to euros and 2 decimal places, that's fine. Its page orientation is portrait because that's the default. It should show only the records where the sold is yes, sales are made in 2012 and the salesperson is Geldorf. So in this case I need to make sure that my sold is only open to yes, but I can see if I scroll down that I also have cars that are not sold. See? So scroll back up to the top, right click over the first yes, and I'm going to select is -1, so that's the equivalent to yes. If you got it wrong, if you clicked the wrong one, you can right click and say clear the filter from sold and then just do the next one. Okay. So in addition to that, I should have a filter whereby sales were only made in 2012. So I'm going to right click on the date sold and I'm going to go to date filters, and if I was looking for a particular time, like for example a particular month, I could go to dates in period and select that month. But because I'm looking for a whole year, I need to go to the between option, and I'm going to put from the 1st of January 2012 until the 31st of December 2012. 1st of the 1st, 2012 until the 12. Okay, and now I can only see sales that were made in 2012. It also says that the salesperson has to be Geldorf. So I'm going to right click on one of the salespersons, and just to make this a little bit quicker, I'm going to right click on one of the sales that was actually Geldorf. If I right click here, I can use the default filter that all of the salespersons should equal Geldorf. There we go. So these sales here were made in 2012, and the sale has occurred. Sold is yes, and the salesperson is Geldorf. So all of those are now correct. Now I can see that there is certain data which isn't actually visible on my page, so I need to resize some of my columns in order to make sure that everything fits on a single page, and drag across my footer as well. Okay, so there we go. Now my next instruction says that the sales price and the currency should both be to 2 decimal places, which is correct. It should have the page orientation of landscape, which it does. It should show only the fields salesperson, model, price, discount, date sold, sales price, and sold, which it does. It should be sorted into ascending order of model, so I'm going to right click over the model and I'm going to sort A to Z. It should calculate the total value of these sales and place this value below the sales price column. So I can see it valuing the original price, but I'd like to add another calculation for it to total the sales price. So again, I'm going to click on the header of that and go to my sum totals, and I'm going to sum those values. The label for this should be total value of sales, so I'm going to place that in the column to the left. There, and the title of the report should be Sales Record for Geldorf. And it should have my name, centre number and candidate number on the left of the report. So I'm just going to drag the footer bar over to the left. And again, because I can't edit it here, I'm going to just change the view into the design view and edit it there. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and close speech marks. And again, when I view the finished report, that is what I should be able to see for this task here. And again, my last instruction says to save and print that report.